Today on the Ask Brady Show, we talk about church salaries for communicators. How much should you be paid?
Well, hey there!
And welcome to the Ask Brady Show, episode number 45. We've got 4 great questions from the people of Pro Church Nation, and I'm joined, as always, to my left, your right, it's Roxanne.
It's true.
True it is, behind the camera, the editing wizard himself, Joe Nex. And the man with the cam, Alex Mills.
Thanks. It's not really as special as it sounds because I work here, but I'm here.
Roxanne, take us away, please, with the first question.
All right, first question's a video question.
Well, hey there, Pro Church family. How's it going, Roxanne? Hey, Brady. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for all that you do. Here's my question, guys. I've been given the opportunity of a lifetime to be the director of media and communications for my favorite church with my favorite pastor of all time in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a church of about 350 members and an online presence on weekends of about 3,000. Now, I've never been a paid employee or a staff member that receives compensation in this capacity for working for a church. So as far as working out numbers and things like this, I have no idea how to do it. And this is a position that is new to the church as well because they're identifying the need for a digital presence. And they want to have that presence there. They want to bring me on, but neither of us really know what to charge. How does one go about figuring out, the numbers? Please help. Thank you, guys.
And thank you for the question. I remember when I was first hired by a church, and I had that exact same feeling where for the longest time you've been volunteering at a church, you've been serving in your free time. I remember in high school, I would go to church like every single week before youth group. I would leave straight from high school, walk sometimes like the 5 kilometers to get to the church, and then from like 3 p.m. until midnight be at church. And it was the greatest thing ever, and that was 100% free. And then I remember in Bible college, my pastor coming to me and saying, "Hey, we'd like to hire you." And I was like, "Money? You're going to give me money to do this?" Yes, I am on board. And if this helps at all, when I got first hired, I had 0 experience and I was working at a church plant of like 50, and they gave me $1,200 per month, I think, and I did 20 hours a week. So I don't know what that worked out when it comes to hourly. It was half an internship, half a practicum. Like I was getting all my practicum hours at my school, but I was also getting paid, so that was a pretty sweet setup. But what I did for this question was I went to the data because there have been several salary polls that have been taken in the Facebook groups that so many of us are a part of, so I tracked them down. The first one comes from the Church Communications Facebook group run by our good friends Katie Allred and Daryl Girardier, and they got about 700 respondents here. If you want to see the full infographic that they put together, I wasn't able to track it down on their website, churchcommunications.com, but if you join the Facebook group Church Communications, or if you're a part of it already, and you search salary, it's the first thing that came up for me, and the post is from Katie Allred. So like I said, they had about 700 respondents, and the average range of salary was between $30,000 and $50,000. That was where the big bulk of the curve was. There was obviously individuals that were making less, and then a good amount that were making more, but really the most chunky part of the curve came between 30 and 50K. That also included, for the majority of people, medical insurance, naturally because 90% plus of the respondents were from America, vacation and paid holidays that were on top of that salary as well. I checked a second salary poll, and this one came from a different Facebook group. I think I tracked this down inside of the Visual Church Media Facebook group, which is run by our good friends over at Church Motion Graphics, Kendall Connor, and of course, Jeff McIntosh. And this salary poll wasn't put on by them, but it was posted within the group, and this was specific for church AV tech people. So this is probably the sound engineer, the person that's in like the sound booth running all of that. Similar but not precise, but I wanted to add a secondary poll just to add more data. This one had about 400 responses. Average range was, again, 30 to 60K in this respect. The bulk, 20% of the respondents were in the 40 to 50K range. So to answer this question, sounds like the best place to start is to first look at what other churches are paying. And if you want to do a deeper dive into this data, both of these salary polls and infographics were broken down into the size of church, how many attenders, part-time, full-time, paid holiday, all of those like extra benefits on top of it. If you search in either of those groups for salary, the keyword salary, you'll be able to track down some great stuff. Average range, 40 to 50K with some benefits on top of that. And that's about 1,000 responses. So I think looking at what other churches are paying is especially helpful. And that's a great place to start.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Second question comes from James. And he says, do you have mic recommendations for announcement or interview videos?
Well, thanks for the question, James. First thing I would say is that before we get into the specific brand and manufacturer and like item of microphone that the manufacturer sells, the precise one, you want to make sure you're getting the right type of microphone. And for announcement videos, for talking head, what you want to do is you want to get a shotgun mic. You want to get the type of microphone that is long and really thin, looks like a really skinny, longer hot dog sort of thing. I don't know if there's a better analogy for that. Likely not. So let's go with really long, skinny hot dog. I think that's the type of mic that you want. And the reason for this is what it does is it's very directional. So if the mic is above you, out of frame, and pointing down on you or down on your talent, just above the frame, pointing at his or her mouth, what it's going to do is it's going to capture the audio, the noise that's being emitted from that person's mouth, and then cut out all of the ambient noise or as much of the ambient noise surrounding that as possible. And this is especially helpful because that's all you're trying to capture when it comes to the noise. All you're trying to capture is the sound of the person talking. You want to cut out the room noise, the reverb, the natural acoustics that may be good are probably not good where you're shooting. We've found that these mics work tremendously well. We've shot outdoors and haven't had a problem at all. Perhaps more impressively, we've shot in our office, which is highly reverberatory, if that's a word. The acoustics are the acousticatory, reverberatory, balances of the roomatory is just purgatory, and we've been able to capture great sound with those microphones. Let's talk about specific brands and exact mics. The first one that we ever got was perhaps the cheapest shotgun mic that you could ever get. It's the VidPro XM55. It's a $100 mic. And that's not all, Roxanne, because it comes as a full kit. It comes with a shock mount. It comes with an XLR cable. I think it comes with like one of those foam things, kind of like the one on this mic that goes over top to cut out any wind if you're shooting outdoors. That was the first one that I ever owned, and I used it for video announcements, all my talking head videos. If you go back to the earliest videos that we published at Pro Church Tools, it's likely that the mic capturing that audio of me talking was the VidPro XM55. You can get it from B&H. Like I said, it's $99 for the kits, or right around there. It might have gone up, $10 or down $10 depending on sales or price increases. From there, I would recommend upgrading to the mic that we use almost exclusively here for shotguns now is the Audio-Technica AT, which stands for Audio-Technica, 8035. It is actually called that, the Audio-Technica. Goodness, 80.
So good you have to say it twice.
Well, yeah, the AT 8035. Basically, it's a Star Wars reference if you think about it. But 8035, that's the one that we use now. We use it for our video announcements in the studio. We use it when we're recording videos just in the office of me talking. And it's only like a $300 mic. We own mics that are way more expensive. At one time, I can't remember the brand name, but we bought like the best of the best shotgun mic that's used in like all of the big movie productions. I remember looking it up and being like, we need a better microphone. And I ended up buying this one, and I think it starts with an S. Oh yeah, it's the everyone calls it something differently. It is spelt SCHOEPS. So it's either Sheps. I think Sheps is the way most people pronounce it, but I think sometimes it's pronounced Shopes, which sounds ridiculous. So let's go with the Sheps. And we have one of those microphones. It was like a $3,000 mic just for the mic. And you could like change different like cartridges or whatever it's called to like change the pickup pattern of the mic depending on if you were indoors, outdoors, indoors in a small room, indoors in a big room. There are so many more advanced things that you can do. We tested them side by side, and the difference was pretty negligible, I found. And it was really just like, it came down to like your preference. Like the Sheps captures a really dry, minimal sound. And this is perfect for big budget productions because it gives them like the most neutral sounding, voice that they possibly can get. And then they can color it with their expertise, how they see fit. Whereas the AT8035, not as high quality, it's adding a bit of its own sounds to the mic that aren't as neutral, right? And so then like it's baked into the sound, which sounded good to me, so it was fine. Truthfully, I'm not a crazy audiophile, and I remember like going for weeks on end working on like our video announcement studio. We've been in this office for close to a year now, so about a year ago this time, I remember we're trying to set up the audio in this new studio, and I was like losing my mind because I'm trying to create presets that, remove reverbatory sounds, remove reverb, but also work for a female speaker, a male speaker, Rylan Frank, who's works here and his voice frequency is unlike any other human. Like if he laughed right now, we'd have to restart this recording because it would cut through the brick walls and nothing could stop that frequency. I live with this man. Sometimes he'll laugh like trying to scare my daughter, and I like my soul on the inside cripples because I'm like, like that's the sound I make.
I did hear that he made your daughter cry the other day.
Probably because of his vocal
because
frequency.
He scared her.
Yes. So I was trying to create a preset that works kind of for everyone, that like maximized the sound and worked well with music beds underneath. Anyway, a lot of it was just trial and error. So I don't want to pretend that I'm some type of like audio expert, but AT8035, that's about a $300 mic. We compared that with the Sheps, that beast of a mic. It was pretty negligible. But that gets to really the most important part of the answer to this question, which is the microphone that you use is only one part of your audio setup, because the microphone itself isn't capturing audio. It's the receiver of the audio, but where are you capturing that? We right now are using a Sound Devices 702, which is by far the best audio capturing device that we've ever owned. And it's about $2,000. It's a beast. But for the longest time, we used the Tascam DR60D, which is about 1/10 of that price, about $200, because people overlook this all the time. First, I'm glad that James asked this question, because when people are creating videos, they overlook audio way too much. Audio is the most important part of your overall video when it comes to the quality. But from there, you've got to consider the two elements, the receiver itself, the mic, but then also what's recording and capturing the audio and storing it. You don't want to plug your microphone into your camera for the most part. Now, some cameras, if they have XLR inputs like the Ursa Mini, the preamps in there are pretty good. Like they're passable, that we can get away with them. But if you're using a DSLR and you've got to convert your XLR into like, an 1/8 inch, and you're putting the preamps in there are going to be so bad. The settings and controls you're going to have are not going to be great. You can get adapters, like we have one of these adapters that allows you to plug the XLR into this adapter that then goes 1/8 inch out into the camera, and the preamps are built into this adapter, so it's pretty good. But that's about like, and even that costs like $300. So you might as well go with something like the Tascam DR60D, XLR inputs, good enough preamps, nothing special, but good enough, way better than what's in your camera. And then if you're looking for something above that, the Sound Devices 702, if you're going to make a leap, that's the leap that I would make. Go from like good to like great. It's been absolutely phenomenal for us.
Perfect. All right. Third question comes from Casey, and he says, we've been recording our services, and I've seen other churches post signs throughout their building that video/audio recording will be going on in the service. Do you think this is necessary, or is it a preference?
Great question, Casey. This is a question that actually comes up pretty frequently. So I'll make the necessary disclaimer ahead of time that you would want to consult a lawyer, because these rules and laws change not only on country basis, but also on regional basis. Yeah. So make sure you consult with a lawyer for the exact things you need. Here's what I can tell you. You probably don't need to put up anything when you are recording when it comes to a legal standpoint. It's probably not necessary legally, probably. With that being said, there is surely to be someone in your church that's going to get antsy about it, complain, and cause a big chaotic mess. 99% of your church won't care, and that 1%, Carl, is going to get real upset, and he's going to come to you and be like, I did not consent for you to put my ugly mug on the interwebs. Take it down. And you'd be like, Carl, if I could get you to leave my church, you know this person, we all have them, Carl. If I could convince you to get saved elsewhere, I would. But you're going to cause a big deal. So what can you do? Well, I actually found a couple of examples of what churches did online. The easiest thing to do is to post signs outside of the auditorium that basically just make the disclaimer, hey, we're going to be recording and you might get on camera. Pretty much all live events do this. I was looking recently to an NBA game, NBA tickets. I looked on the back, and it said it in the disclaimer in the tiny fine print there, basically being like, look, you're going to a game that's broadcast nationally. It's highly unlikely, but you might be on camera, just so you know.
Yeah.
And this, you coming to the game, is you accepting these terms. So you can put up something similar to that. Now, that's going to sound pretty harsh when you walk into the auditorium and you see something that says, just so you know, you're going to be on camera. If you don't like it, well, you could leave. You don't want to do that. So what have churches done? Well, Life Church, they put together a sign. There's a big heading on this sign that says peekaboo. And then the text reads, please be advised that in an effort to ensure the safety of all of our guests, lifechurch.tv reserves the right to search any and all bags brought onto the premises. Part 1. Part 2 of this sign says, say cheese. Please note the photography and video recording may be in progress while you're here, and entry into the experience signifies your consent to the possibility that your image may be used by lifechurch.tv. And this is James River Church. They did something similar. Big heading that says smile with an exclamation mark. Please note, photography and video recording may be in progress, and entry onto the campus signifies your release and consent to the possibility that your image may be used by James River Church for promotional purposes. Now, it's important to note these are much bigger churches than the average church, and so they can probably get away with this without any people pushing back, because if one person pushes back, they can just say, well, sucks for you. The other 10,000 people don't care, so you can go somewhere else. It's highly unlikely that they'd say that, but note that what they did was they made it playful. They made it fun. They made it like lighthearted. Say cheese or peekaboo or smile with an exclamation mark. Basically, you want to take this legal mumbo jumbo and this what can sound harsh and turn it into something that's friendly and lighthearted. Now, again, consult a lawyer on this, because I'm actually not sure that just by putting this up, like you're safe legally 100%. You might not be, but it's definitely worth putting up for the sole purpose of dealing with Carl. It's highly unlikely that legally you're ever going to get, put in a position where you're in big trouble. Consult with a lawyer to make sure. But putting up a disclaimer like this practically is great for putting people at ease, knowing that you are not going to be able to be like, if someone sends in an email and says, why did you do this? Be like, yeah, we have a disclaimer. And then that's probably going to be an end, put an end to it. Another thing to consider is, you probably don't need to put anyone's face on a live stream. If you really want to shoot somebody with their hands raised, that can get you into trouble if people are like, I didn't expect to be on this live stream. I didn't want to do that. So you could just shoot multiple angles of the stage and just omit that type of shot altogether.
Yep. All right. Last question comes from Joshua, and he says, how often should you change your church profile and cover photos?
Thanks for the question, Joshua. When it comes to the frequency of changing your profile photo, cover image on Facebook, really on any social media platforms, you've got to ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish with this photo? What I see a lot of churches doing is posting their sermon series artwork here, which I don't think is the best use of space. I like to think of social media similarly to the way that I approach a church's website, which is, look, the person I'm trying to target here is someone who's new, someone who's unfamiliar with the church. And so with my Facebook cover image, I like to put up a big picture of smiling, beautiful faces from people at my church. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to take marketing and translate that to the church world, what we're selling with our church is our community. At least that's what I recommend that we be positioning. You can sell your service, you can sell your experience, but I think as we move forward in the communication age that we're in now, living through this biggest communication shift in the last 500 years, services, experiences are becoming more and more commoditized. I can listen to better worship music than you can produce on Spotify unlimited. I can listen to any pastor preach better than yours on podcasts for free, unlimited. And so what is your church offering that is unique? And I know that there are going to be people that disagree with me on this. So even if you don't come to really the table with that perspective on what church is really trying to sell, what really a church should be trying to market, think of it this way. It's empirically, scientifically proven that humans respond better to pictures, photos of other humans' faces than any other thing that you can post. Alex is seeing this, the man with the cam, with his own church Facebook page. He was mentioning this yesterday in the office. Every time he posts an image, a photo of people's faces from his church, it drastically, disproportionately outperforms the other types of posts on his Facebook page. So with that being said, That is with the caveat that Alex doesn't post very much video, and that video,
Right.
and then there's a unique nuance here too. Video on social, specifically Facebook, performs so well because of the algorithm of Facebook. Photos of people perform so well because of people. We love seeing photos of other people. Combine those two, put your hands together, and you get a video of people's faces, and that's when you're really winning. But what you want to do with your Facebook cover image is do the same thing. Maximize that real estate and put in there the best absolute thing that you can put there. Don't put a graphic of like your new sermon series like in January coming up called Start Fresh. Like nobody cares, okay? At least when it comes to targeting the right people, that's what I would say. Smiling faces of real people in your church. And what's cool about the Facebook cover real estate is that you can do some new things now. They have now a carousel feature so you can slide through different photos. So you could have kids ministry. You could have people worshiping, smiling and worshiping in the sanctuary. You've got people having an experience in community before service in the lobby or outside. Smiling greeters welcoming people as they walk into the church. Parking lot people smiling as they direct cars to the right parking spot. You could have all of those images. And now, in a matter of a couple of seconds, you've greatly introduced your church, your community, what you're trying to market and share with the world to a new visitor to your Facebook page. And of course, with cover images, you can also turn them into a cover video and do the same exact thing, but with a video, a motion moving image instead of a still image. When it comes to the frequency of changing it, if you're going to take this approach, quarterly, twice a year, even yearly is probably fine. If you want to get really, fun with it and you shoot a ton of video, do a ton of photo, you could do it monthly. Any more than that, it just doesn't seem worth it. Would probably not be worth an ROI. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for this 45th episode of the Ask Brady Show. If you want your question answered, you can always send it in to the email hello@prochurchtools.com. We got a video question sent in this week. It didn't make it to hello@prochurchtools.com. It made it to helloa@prochurchtools.com. Now, luckily, I have a catch-all. So if you email ninja@prochurchtools.com, it will be sent to my email, and I'll get it. And I'll forward it to hello@prochurchtools.com, not helloa, though that does sound kind of elegant.
Or at least warmer than here.
Aloha. Helloa. So hello@prochurchtools.com is the email to send your question into. If you send in a video, you'll be put immediately to the top of the queue, like the individual that sent in his video question this week. And if you want your question answered just verbally, just written, you can also send that in on any social platform, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter with the hashtag AskBrady. Thanks for watching, Pro Church Nation. We love you. We love you so much. So much.
So much.
So much. We'll be back with another episode real soon. Season 167. Talk then.